Yeah, I think there's a queue. There's myself and Gabriel, but he's probably next in line after us, you know. He looked good tonight, very explosive. And
hey, this is a young kid, 20 years old, with devastating knockout power, bro. This have Mike Tyson type of energy all over.
He's about one punch away from getting hurt. So big respect to Itauma. I mean, he knew that he can get him out, and he got him out straight away. I mean, I think no one expected it to finish that quick.
Speed kills, as you know.
Speed kill.
One punch. One devastating, earth-shattering punch that sent shockwaves through the entire boxing world and left legends scrambling for their phones to tweet about what they just witnessed. In a sport where careers are built over decades, 20-year-old Moses Itauma just announced his arrival to the heavyweight elite by absolutely demolishing Dillian Whyte in the most brutal first-round knockout that has the entire combat sports community losing their collective minds right now.
Yeah, he's going to give these tough guys, he's going to give these veterans a hell of a time, bro. He's poised, he's patient, and he got that knockout power. He know how to set it up. It's going to be a nightmare to get rid of this guy, man.
There's been so much talk of Moses Itauma. His talent, we've said how talented he really is. Now he's doing on the big stage, the main event. That's another level now, isn't it?
Well, we know Dillian Whyte came in here being knocked out a couple times, wanted to see could he land a punch on this young kid, but he didn't have a chance tonight. He got mowed over, and this is a big win for a young guy. But he got to continue to fight credible opponents, and he got to get tested. He got to fight a young fighter like himself and beat a credible opponent like that, not these old, washed-up fighters that he can only just look good against. He got to get tested, too, to see if he's the real deal.
Now talk to me about Dillian. Obviously we can see the work that you put in. Such a brilliant servant to the sport, isn't he?
Say it again, I'm sorry.
For Dillian, we can see the work that you put in this camp. Such a brilliant servant to the sport. If this is the end, how good has Dillian Whyte been?
You know what? Dillian Whyte has been a staple in the heavyweight division. I think it's time for him to hang it up. He can only get hurt a lot worse than he did tonight. You know, fortunately, you know, he didn't get seriously injured, KO'd and knocked out unconscious. You know, he'll be able to take this loss and I think enjoy the rest of his retirement.
Definitely. Just before I let you go, Moses Itauma, is it time to see him in there with Alexander Usyk, or do you still think that might be too soon?
It's too soon for Usyk, bro. He got to earn his title shot. He got to be the real contender. He beat a washed-up has-been.
But here's the thing that's got everyone from Tyson Fury to Frank Warren going absolutely crazy on social media. This wasn't supposed to happen this way. This was supposed to be Moses Itauma's test, his moment of truth, his chance to prove he belonged in the same ring as a seasoned veteran like Dillian Whyte. Instead, what we got was a masterclass in pure destruction that has boxing legends comparing this kid to none other than Mike Tyson himself. And trust me, when Antonio Tarver starts throwing around Iron Mike comparisons, you know something absolutely insane just went down.
Fight for the opportunity, British boxing legend. So yeah, really pleased.
We spoke about this before in the week, and let's not kind of cut over the fact that Dillian Whyte has been in with everyone.
100%.
And this was a gamble from your side, from the second class between, say, a Dempsey McKean to someone like a Dillian Whyte, and that was a gamble. You took the gamble and it's paid off, but you shouldn't start saying, "Oh, Whyte was whatever" now, because we didn't know what was going to happen tonight.
No, I think it's extremely disrespectful to have that approach. Like I say, nothing but respect with Dillian. Really appreciate him giving us the opportunity, and yeah, I think Moses deserves all the credit that he should be getting.
Did you expect it to come that early?
No, I didn't. Being honest, I know that he's always capable. He's a very difficult heavyweight to be in there with. Very difficult to defend against. He hits hard enough where he's hitting with shots that you don't see, and hits hard enough to put you away with those. So I know that he can come at any moment, but yeah, he saw the opportunity, picked up on something that he'd worked on. Big shout out to Lee Wiley as well. Puts a lot of time in, a lot of effort in, and fantastic in putting together a scouting report and picking up on Dillian's tendencies for us to go away and put together some drills and rep that with Moses, and Yeah, it all paid off. Everyone's work paid.
The moment that punch connected and Dillian Whyte hit the canvas, the boxing world exploded. Within minutes, some of the biggest names in combat sports were taking to social media with reactions that ranged from pure shock to complete admiration. But before we dive into these incredible responses, let's talk about what makes this knockout so absolutely mind-blowing that it has everyone, from heavyweight champions to veteran promoters, questioning everything they thought they knew about the future of boxing.
Certainly don't, and there weren't any overtime. It was an unbelievable, ruthless, short performance. Caught him with good shots and done an absolute job.
Did you expect that?
No. I fancied him to win. I thought he'd stop him, but I didn't think it would be like that.
Frank Hrgovic next?
Don't know yet. We'll see what happens. No rush today. We've got a load of options, and we'll consider what we're going to do.
How do you match this guy now?
We'll match him.
But, I mean, no one's giving him rounds.
Sorry?
Antonio Tarver, the former light heavyweight champion who's seen it all in his decades-long career, didn't hold back when describing what he witnessed. The man who once knocked out Roy Jones Jr. was practically speechless as he praised Itauma's devastating knockout power. But here's what really caught everyone's attention. Tarver straight up compared this 20-year-old kid to Mike Tyson. Not just in terms of power, but in terms of that raw, intimidating energy that Tyson carried into every fight during his prime. Tarver emphasized how Itauma possesses that rare combination of devastating knockout power and a maturity that's absolutely shocking for someone who's only 20 years old.
Was clearly done, and we'll get to whether or not Dillian Whyte is done. So there are going to be some that say, look, okay, what's Dillian Whyte done in the last couple of years? And these things are true, and I spoke about those things as well, but I don't want to change what the narrative was, or what the narrative has been in the last couple of days. With everyone seeing the way Dillian Whyte looked and the way Dillian Whyte was speaking, I think a lot of people are like, well, 1 second, something might happen here. Let's remember that, because something did happen. Moses Itauma was just a steam train. Honestly, this guy, for 20 years of age, 20. Remember, all these heavyweights that you're seeing right now that are in their peak, are in their mid to late 30s, and most of them became world level operators in their mid to late 20s. He's doing it as a baby. This guy is 20 years and 7 months. And, you know, I've been like around Andy Lee for the last couple of days, and it's been so good being around Andy, because Andy has told me stories of watching Moses spar Joseph Parker. And even Andy's been waxing lyrical about him. And he doesn't have to, right? This is off camera, this isn't on camera, these are private conversations. And he's like, this dude is good. Because there's been a lot of talk about if this was to go and turn into a dogfight, maybe Dillian Whyte would have the advantage. And I think I said this as well, to be fair. And Andy kind of shut that down straight away, said no. Like, I've seen this guy in a dogfight. So maybe he's talking about the spars with Joseph Parker. But I'm just so excited about what this kid can be in the next 2 or 3 years. I am. I like the way the Americans are talking about him, because it's so hard for Brits to kind of get the thumbs up from American fight fans, American fighters.
But Tarver didn't stop there. He went on to recognize Itauma as a rising heavyweight star who isn't just going to compete in the division's future, he's going to dominate it. The veteran fighter made predictions that sent chills down the spines of established heavyweights everywhere, stating that Itauma is going to give these seasoned veterans an absolute nightmare with his patience, his setup ability, and that bone-crushing knockout power that can end fights in an instant. Now, while Antonio Tarver was making these incredible comparisons, Ben Davidson was processing what he'd just witnessed from a completely different perspective. Davidson's reaction carried both respect and pure admiration. But what made his response so powerful was how he emphasized the significance of witnessing a British boxing legend like Dillian Whyte step into the ring. Regardless of the outcome, Davidson understood that this moment was bigger than just one fight. This was boxing history unfolding in real time.
Devastating, stunning, spectacular. You can throw all the words you want at it. It was brutal, and this is what I feared going in. I'm a bit, when fighters give their all to the career, and you watch them throughout the years, having wars and giving everything, like Dillian Whyte against Chisora. You saw the action with the AJ fight. Look at him throughout all his career. He always goes out there, gives everything, as a tear-up. He's exciting. He's a big character, big personality. And then when they get to a stage of the career where you feel as though it's that fight where where it's kind of like it's way too much for him, and it's going to be, quite a nasty ending for him, a nasty ending to a career. I was worried for Dillian going into that this would be that fight, and it was. I mean, that you don't get as it can't be any worse than that to punctuate a career, to end a career.
Before we talk about what's potentially next for Dillian, let's talk about Moses. It's hard because we almost want to, feel like we want to learn a bit more about him. No, genuinely. Yeah. I wanted at least to see about 4 or 5 rounds, and maybe I don't necessarily say, "Oh, I'll get clipped with a few," because if you can move out of the way, great.
You want questions asked, don't you?
I want to see. If you get dragged into the trenches a little bit, where can we go here? But you don't ever get that far. So is that, I suppose, maybe the only thing you got? I thought we'd have seen a bit more of him.
Yeah, that's what you want to. You want to tick boxes as a fan, as somebody who's trying to see how far this kid can go. When we get something spectacular, you want to see him have questions put in front of them and see, like you say, can they go a few rounds? What happens? Because there's still those unanswered questions that we've got. Can he carry it on throughout the later rounds? Can his feet stay sharp? Can he, does he retain that sharpness, past 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 rounds?
What really got to Davidson was recognizing this fight as what he called a passing of the torch moment. Here was a young warrior stepping up against a respected veteran. And instead of a competitive back-and-forth battle, we got a statement that echoed throughout the entire sport. Davidson viewed this not simply as a sudden finish, but as a defining moment that highlighted the emergence of a new generation ready to take over the heavyweight division. His tone reflected an appreciation for Whyte's incredible career achievements, while simultaneously acknowledging the absolutely staggering magnitude of Moses Itauma's victory.
He was a bigger step up than Moses Itauma had ever faced in his career. Remind you guys, the kid only has now 13 fights. And this was supposed to be somewhat of a test for Moses Itauma. This is supposed to tell us where he was in the pantheon of heavyweight and what you can do with him next. If he is going to struggle with guys like Dillian Whyte, you can't fast-track him to a world title. If he goes out and does what he did, which is absolutely beat the brakes off Dillian Whyte, demolish him, and make it look like they should have never been in the ring together, then you have to fast-track him to a world title. You have to have him fighting the best in the world. Whether it's Parker or Gabriel, whoever's not fighting Usyk next, whether it's a returning Anthony Joshua, we'll talk about that in a second, whether it's a Tyson Fury, no one's probably going to want to take that risk right now because of their legacies, because of what's set in stone. So you're probably going to have to give him some younger, hungry heavyweights, like I said, a Parker or a Gabriel. But I'm telling you right now, it is not a matter of if, but when that kid gets to a world title, because, dog, he's out here making this look easy. He is playing heavyweight boxing on easy mode right now, and it's not because he's boosting the sliders. It's because the competition just is not there for him. They tried to give him a step up with Dillian Whyte, and he made it look like a walk in the park. Let's talk about the fight. They both walked out. By the way, Styles P on the walkout for Moses Itauma, him as the voiceover saying, the future isn't coming, the future is here, the future is now. That's some big fucking balls. I'm talking 2 grapefruits hanging in your shorts to walk out to your own voiceover.
But if you think the reaction stopped there, you're absolutely wrong. Because that's when the heavyweight elite started weighing in, and their responses were nothing short of explosive. Tyson Fury, the current heavyweight champion, who's seen every type of fighter imaginable, couldn't contain his excitement. Fury's acknowledgement was short but absolutely loaded with meaning. There he is, the future of boxing. Been saying it for years. Think about that for a second. The heavyweight champion of the world has been watching this kid and predicting his rise long before this knockout sent shockwaves through the sport. The significance of Fury's endorsement cannot be overstated. When the man who's currently sitting at the top of the heavyweight mountain gives you his stamp of approval, that's not just recognition. That's a credibility boost that money can't buy. Fury's words essentially validated what many had been whispering about Itauma, but now it was being shouted from the rooftops by.
Something like that. I've never been a person to focus on that. My goal was never to be a superstar or to sell out Wembley, or that's never been on my agenda. Me personally, I've been boxing since I was 9 years old. It's just something that I do. If I don't box, I feel out of place. I don't feel comfortable in myself. So I'm chasing that thing that I've always had as a little kid, and that's just to be a fighter, and everything else kind of falls into place, doesn't it?
Aiming with seconds out, question for Moses. You referenced in the pre-fight build-up that you felt that Whyte was as per the rules of... Sorry.
Meanwhile, Frank Warren, one of boxing's most experienced and successful promoters, was having his own moment of pure awe. Warren described the fight as an incredible and brutal display, and coming from someone who's promoted some of the most devastating knockouts in boxing history, those words carry serious weight. Warren's reaction focused on the speed and decisiveness of the Townless performance, emphasizing how this young fighter had just sent a crystal clear message to the entire boxing world.
Maybe we can, maybe he can go a couple of rounds. Not saying he's going to win, but maybe he can go a couple of rounds and, you know, pull something out. You know, maybe just be competitive. We've questions of Itauma that we need asked. Maybe Dillian Whyte is the guy to ask them. All right, and that's what we're thinking. Maybe, right? So, you get the fight week, and Dillian Whyte is very much in a, you know, it's the Itauma show, being very respectful to Itauma. Now, some people were saying maybe that's Dillian Whyte trying to play mind games with Itauma, lull him into a false sense of security. Others were saying maybe it's him checked out. Again, I was kind of like, nah, it's probably him just playing the mind games. He'll probably get taken out, but Itauma will go rounds. Dillian Whyte weighs in, career lightest, or no, sorry, not career lightest, but lightest he's been in a decade. And I spoke to a few people in Saudi who were there today and said that they think the scales were a little bit off and that he actually could have been lighter, right, believe it or not. So everyone was buzzing for this. Now, I did say, I think yesterday in the video I did, that maybe Dillian Whyte, could he have taken the weight off too soon? Could he be a little bit weak? Who knows, right? But either way, we go to the fight tonight. They're both in the ring. Dillian Whyte looks on it, and here we go. It's fight night. Now, from the get-go, the speed was a problem for Dillian Whyte. Itauma was just too fast. You could see it. That hand speed, like that. It was just phenomenal. And you're just like, oh God. For me, you could see the right...
What really struck Warren was how the short nature of the contest perfectly highlighted Itauma's explosive style and finishing ability. This wasn't a lucky punch or a flash knockdown. This was a calculated, brutal demonstration of skill that proved Itauma could handle the pressure of a major event against a well-respected opponent like Dillian Whyte. For Warren to emphasize the brutality and efficiency of the performance meant he was seeing exactly what fans and promoters dream of in a rising star. Pure entertainment mixed with undeniable skill.
Immediate reaction to the fight. What do you think went wrong tonight?
He got caught. He couldn't recover, basically. You know what I mean? If that's all you can say, you can't say nothing else. You know, got hit with a good shot, didn't recover, and the referee did what he felt was right.
A lot of people will obviously say, you know, was it the inactivity? Is he still in his prime days? All that kind of stuff. Sometimes take the credit away from Moses. What do you think?
You know what? Right now, I My mind is like blank, to be honest. You know what I mean? So, my mind is blank, to be honest, right now. I mean, I don't want to say anything out of character, so not in a bad way, but like your mind is going 1,000 times right now. So, I'm just gonna hang out with him the rest of the night and enjoy the rest of the stay here in Saudi Arabia.
Just a last word on Moses Itauma. How good is he from what you just saw ringside, close up?
Listen, I know the kid is good. I know he can fight. You know what I mean?
But the social media explosion was just getting started because Frank Warren wasn't done expressing his amazement. The veteran promoter took to Twitter with a message that immediately went viral. Moses Itauma is the real deal. We all just witnessed something special. Now, when a promoter of Warren's stature uses phrases like the real deal and something special, the entire boxing community takes notice. His statement reflected the magnitude of Itauma's victory and the lasting impression it left on everyone who witnessed it. This wasn't just praise from a promoter trying to hype his next big event. This was genuine recognition from someone who's seen countless prospects come and go. Warren's perspective as a veteran in the sport showed that Itauma's win was being viewed as a legitimate defining moment, not just another highlight reel knockout.
You'd have worked sort of tirelessly over the last few weeks over the game plan. Was you surprised with how early it went with that?
No, we knew there was an opportunity of that. Like I said there, Lee Wiley lost his mum through that camp, so really appreciative of the work that he always does. Put together a scouting report, picked up on Dillian's tendencies to a T. We repped it, drilled it, and Moses went out there and executed it. So, fantastic job. And as we keep saying, he's a very, very difficult fighter to get through the rounds with, and without taking punishment. He's hitting you with shots that you don't see coming. He hits plenty hard enough to hurt you with those shots. So, yeah, like I say, knew it was a possibility.
The knockout confirmed his arrival as a true contender in heavyweight boxing. And the global reaction proved that the entire world was taking notice. This wasn't just a local story or a regional talking point. This was a career-defining moment that announced the emergence of a potential future champion to boxing fans everywhere. As the dust settles on this absolutely incredible knockout, one thing is crystal clear. Moses Itauma has officially announced his arrival to the heavyweight elite in the most dramatic way possible. The reactions from boxing legends, champions, promoters, and analysts all point to the same conclusion. We're witnessing the emergence of something truly special in the sport of boxing. At just 20 years old, with devastating knockout power and the endorsement of the sport's biggest names, Moses Itauma has positioned himself as the future of heavyweight boxing. The question isn't whether he'll compete for world titles. The question is how many he'll win and how.